Hello everyone and welcome to my review for Record of Ragnarok Chapter 56, A Few Things. This review is out a little later than I would have liked, because I woke up at 4:30 this morning and then went to go get on an airplane for 3 hours, so I just got home not that long ago, was not available to record and upload a review. Second thing, you may be noticing the background and my, hopefully by now, avatar look a little different. That's because Thanksgiving is over, motherfuckers. It's time for Christmas, my favorite time of the year. So, it's gonna be a little more festive in pretty much every video for like the next month. Yeah. Anyway, time to get on with the actual review. Alright, and if you haven't already, you should definitely subscribe and help us reach our subscriber goal for 2021 of hitting 4,000 by the end of the year. Anyway, this month's chapter, titled King vs. King, picks up right where we left off last month with Qin, whose name I am making an active effort to try and correctly pronounce, used the fucking Nico-style Weeping Willow to flip Ares over him. Somehow. I think we kind of get an answer for that. Anyway, Ares is pissed. Ares tries to do the same thing again as Qin is ignoring him to talk about how cushy this chair is, and then he just flips him over again. Ares kind of gets shit on really hard this chapter, but, you know, it's comedic. I don't think Ares has been a serious character since, like, right after his introduction, actually, so. And Ares is, like, a humongous clown in Greek mythology. Like, everybody clowns on Ares, which you would not expect for the god of war, and yet, it happens. So Ares is just getting kind of shit on, but Hermes finds Qin to be very entertaining. He even gives him a drink, which is great. So then, Gaul barges in and smashes Ares in the face with the door, because Brunhild and Gaul have been searching for Qin because he left his room without saying anything, and they figured the best way to find him would just be by following all the holes through the corridors. Now, Qin says that there's no need to worry about this because the road is where I leave. Wherever I go, that is the correct path. When in reality, Gaul's like, he has no sense of direction. He is fucking terrible at finding his way around things. So, as Ares points out, he's like really unhinged. If Qin's whole thing is just being kind of an idiot, but is so unbelievably confident that he just takes it all in stride, this dude will be one of the best characters in the series. I mean, that's just so fucking funny. That's a great character trope. That's hilarious. So Qin, already off to a very strong start, and when he's told that it's going to be his turn to fight this round, he leaps out of his seat and is like, cool, I'm not going back to the human entrance because I'm already here and I don't feel like going back. So I'm just going to go right out from here. And this is where we get what is quite possibly one of the biggest flexes of any of the true human fighters we've had thus far, which is all of the emperors of China line up in the stands to lay down the red carpet for Qin. All of these people who ruled over the entirety of China are working together to let the man who preceded all of them walk over their heads. That's quite the flex right there. Now, we only get the names for a few of the Chinese emperors. I think we get 6. One of them is one of the guys from Lu Bu's fight. I was expecting to see... I think that's him. It looks like him. Which I was expecting. I mean, they're the 2 Chinese fighters. You would probably expect to have some kind of overlap in the people they would have in the audience. Now, we have a procession of literally every single emperor in Chinese history, so we're going to only get a few of them. Maybe we'll get introduced to more in the future, but in the meantime, we're only getting the names for a few of them. Unlike my patrons, who I'm going to give you the names of all of them. Special thanks to Fuse, Neo, Dijon Redden, Anthony Chavez, Honey Mustard, Zach Rowitz, K-God, Chris Redfield, Srash23, Rat, Ryzen 4K, Artist, Mac Campaign, Wave of Manga, Chuck's Feed and Seed, and Jake Sturrizy. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get a shout out at some point during videos, or access to reviews for solo leveling and the Boxer, you can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. After Qin's very cool entrance, we get introduced to his Valkyrie, which is interesting because we haven't seen a new Valkyrie in like almost a year. Well, no, we haven't. Actually, we saw Thrud more than a year ago, but you get what I mean. We haven't had a human fighter get a Valkyrie to Volund with in a while, actually. So it's cool to see another one. And this one is Alvitar, the 10th eldest of the Valkyries. She looks a lot like Locke. I assume that's because they're both fairly closely related. Isn't Locke the 11th? 11th or 12th? I don't remember which one. But this is one of the lolly varieties of the Valkyries, so I don't care for her that much. But anyway, she's really pissed that Qin went and just came in through a completely different entrance without letting her know, so she was just kind of standing there the whole time thinking he'd left or something. But he manages to win her over with his incredible charms, because as we all know, Qin's a pretty attractive fellow, and he's got charisma out the ass. So they Volund, he gets I'd say pretty cool set of armor. It's really just his arms. The almighty Spalders, which cover his shoulders, his arms, and add additions to his little finger claw things. And he likes it. It's pretty cool. I don't think it's the coolest of the Volunds, but I like the general aesthetic for it. I always think the finger claws are kind of cool. Anyway, time for Hades to enter. In my opinion, Hades has a pretty weak entrance. It's just he just kind of walks in. More the Thor vein of entrances. But we do get something interesting here. We see Hades' divine weapon is his bident, which is like a trident, but it only has 2 pointy parts. I'm imagining that Zeus's divine weapon, which we are aware that he has, but we haven't seen it, is probably a spear. I'm pretty sure Zeus's lightning bolt is usually depicted as some kind of spear when it's not literally lightning. So it would seem that the 3 actual brothers of Olympus are all polearm wielders. And if you want to include a scythe as a polearm, then Adamas uses them too. So that's just kind of a cool thing. All of them do that. Now, as Hades is walking out, he is met by Proteus, who was a servant of Poseidon. I don't know why the fuck this guy is emotionally invested in Poseidon, because Poseidon probably never even looked at this guy. But he brings the head of Poseidon's trident and tells him to smite the humans who killed Poseidon with the hammer of the gods. So Hades is like, yeah, listen, man. Poseidon would not have given a shit about revenge and all that, but since I am the elder brother, it's my job to take revenge for him. So he combines the head of Poseidon's trident with his bident. It basically just adds the little fin part to it. Makes it look way cooler. So that's pretty good. Then Hades walks out and gets kind of a mantra. It's literally just him walking out and then kind of getting hyped shit. Not much in the way of visuals. It feels like a really short intro. But anyway, he takes off his coat, because you can't get the important drip dirty. You can't stain the white coat red. It's a bad idea. And we see that we already knew he was really attractive, but you know, if you needed any further confirmation, there it is. So the 2 kings, the king who ruled all of China, the king of kings, and the king of the underworld are here for a little bit of a royal rumble in round 7. And lo and behold, the fight actually begins this chapter because we got 62 fucking pages, which is kind of a lot. And I'm very happy about this. A little bit of a minor problem I've had with the fights that we've gotten after round 4 is that round 4 was really long, and it kind of needed to be with the type of fight that it was. But now the fights have just been getting really long. for not really any good reason. It feels like they're just kind of getting artificially stretched out. I understand they're good opportunities for sort of fleshing out the characters more, but kind of causes problems with the pacing, especially with a monthly series where you have to wait a fairly long time in between chapters. It's really good that we got the start right underway in the same chapter that we have both combatants come out, because that hasn't happened in a while. It took like 3 months. It took 3 fucking months for round 6 to get started. Isn't that crazy? We had Buddha coming in, then we had a whole month just for Zarafuku coming in, and then we got Zarafuku's backstory, and then Buddha kicking Zarafuku at the end of that chapter. And then we didn't really get into the actual fight until after that, until the month after that. So it's really good that we're getting into things right here from the get-go. Now, I think this fight is off to a pretty solid start. We kind of established the dynamic between Hades and Qin. Qin is very nonchalant and casual, kind of. Basically, he's just so confident in his superiority over everyone else that he doesn't give a shit. He's just like, whatever. He's just chilling, just vibing. Whereas Hades is a pretty stoic and serious guy, and he's kind of pissed off. So, Hades is like, Qin Shi Huang, was it? I don't have anything against you personally. However, feel bad that you are part of the race that murdered my brother. So then we get into Hades' fighting style, which is somewhat similar to Poseidon, as you would expect. Seems like the three brothers all have very jab-centric styles. I imagine Zeus would fight quite a lot like Poseidon if he had his weapon. But basically, instead of doing a fuckload of flurry attacks, Hades focuses almost entirely on singular kill shots. Do these kill shots land? No, not really, because the fight just started. But just a little bit of a difference. You're not going to have like a bunch of insane bullshit with after images like you had with Poseidon. You get a little after images, because these are fast characters, but you don't get like a dome of after images. So Hades is naming his attacks after Persephone, which I like. Apparently, the old translation didn't really capture these for the other ones, but in the anime, it's like, oh, I see. All of Poseidon's attacks are named after women that he slept with, quote unquote. Because I'm pretty sure there was one named after, like, Medusa. I don't remember what the other ones were. I mean, the 40-day flood should not change, unless they're going to keep it named after someone and then have the subtitle be 40-day flood. Because this one is Persephone Calicorn, Hammer of the Netherworld. So, like, it still has, like, a whole name there after being named after Persephone. Once again, hopefully, we're going to see Persephone in some way, shape, or form during this fight, because they have, like, the best relationship in Greek mythology, in that it's actually kind of normal. So, Hades' attacks are able to destroy the arena around him just from the pressure of them, which is fairly impressive, and he manages to actually cut Qin's side open basically with the force of his attack. He doesn't actually hit him with it. So then, Hades goes in for another attack. Persephone, Roa, Breaker of Storms. I really like the spiral visuals of the wind around this one. But then, oh my god, Nico-style redirection. No, it's some kind of... This is clearly involving the power of his Volund, because he uses his Volund to block the attack. But him moving it around and stuff, I think, is super definitely our ever-powerful 4,000 years of Chinese martial arts. Though, wasn't it more like 2,000 years back when this happened? I don't actually remember when Qin unified China. I don't remember how long ago that was. But, a couple thousand years of Chinese Kenpo is able to challenge even the gods. And I really, really like the visuals with this. The visuals of this redirection are so good. When the force of Hades' attack hits the wall, I like how it kind of crashes up like waves. And then we have the rippling shockwave of the attack passing through Qin's body, and we see how it sort of wraps around him. It looks really goddamn cool. And then he pushes the force back into Hades, and Hades gets his bident, like, shoved into him. It's not the sharp end, but, you know, having a metal rod, like, fucking smashed into your ribs hurts. He doesn't cough up blood, but he clearly gets the wind knocked out of him, and he even gets blown back into the walls of the arena. So, we have Qi Yo in its armor form, the Heavenly Hand of Defense. And this is where we find out that Qin's Volund has 5 different forms: armor, spear, halberd, sword, and crossbow. So we have a defensive, or I guess counter technique. We have a long-range piercing attack, a long-range sweeping attack, a mid-range slashing attack, I assume, and then a just full-blown ranged attack. Cool, I guess. Now, I have some interesting information on this that I got from some people on my Discord. The first one's from BrownDio4321, who found that the Jia dynasty introduced armor into warfare, the Shang dynasty introduced spears and halberds, and the Zhou dynasty introduced swords and crossbows. Sorry if I mispronounced any of those. I don't speak Chinese, so I'm not super familiar with all the pronunciations. Finding out that Qin's name is pronounced Qin was a bit of a shocker to me. But anyway, that's really cool, because these dynasties all preceded Qin. You know, because there were dynasties before the unification of China. It's just, after Qin took over, every emperor was an emperor of the entirety of China. So it's really cool that Qin's Volund and his powers seem to revolve around, you know, the people who came even before him. Because his whole deal is that he's the one that came before all the other big emperors. So it's really cool that, you know, even he is not the first for everything, and he takes things from those who paved the way for him. And the other thing I found out was from Neo, who said that Qi Yo is a mythical Chinese king, a god of war, and one of the 3 founding fathers of China. So that's just kind of cool. Now, the chapter ends off with Qin basically saying, yeah, Hades, I heard everyone saying that you're like a king or whatever, but there's only one real king here, and that's me. So, pretty good chapter for the start of the fight. I'm liking the way it's going so far. I mean, round 3 is my favorite round, so having some similarities to the, frankly, really fucking cool Poseidon fighting style, off to a good start. Both the characters are fairly entertaining. This rectifies the issues with Poseidon, if you want to consider them an issue. I don't consider Poseidon being like a really one-dimensional antagonist to be an issue, because that's kind of his job. That's what he's supposed to be. But now we have 2 clearly multi-layered characters. Both of them are fairly entertaining in terms of their actual personalities, and they're both really goddamn cool. So I'm very excited to see how this goes. But what did you guys think? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. And with that, that's all I have to say for this month's review. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Record of Ragnarok chapter reviews every month. If you enjoy discussing Record of Ragnarok with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce in this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to that down in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.